What's up, dudes? Welcome back for another album review. We're taking a look at the album, I should say. There's lots of songs on this album called The War from EXO. Of course, it's associated with their promotion song with the song Ko Ko Bop. Fantastic song. Lovely song. I've already said everything I possibly could say about it, about that song specifically, but I wanted to get this song or this review video out like probably 5 days ago. Unfortunately, it just was not possible considering things going on in my life and other things that just life stuff. Anyway, so now let's dive into it, and we have to start with which is where I'm going to start with every single album review that I do, with the promotion song. We got to talk about the promotion song. We got to talk about Ko Ko Bop, and the reason for that is because this is the song and the music video that is that goes with it is supposed to be the thing that sells this album. If you had never heard of EXO before because you're brand new to K-pop, you've never listened to a K-pop song in your life or within at least the last year or so, you don't know who EXO is, then this would be your introduction to the group. And the question that I ask when I look at these songs is, did it get me interested in the album? Like, I was already going to listen to the album, but was this song like made me like go, oh my god, I need to listen to the album to see what else is on there. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, oh, on one hand, I want to give this, a high rating in this aspect, in this metric here, because like I personally was just all over the song, and it was like, oh, the song is good. I need to check out the rest of the album to see if everything else kind of stacks up and equals the song. But on the other hand, I was also kind of thinking about, and it was in the back of my mind, thinking and considering that like there was a lot of people who are like EXO fans, hardcore EXO fans, relatively hardcore EXO fans, and all that stuff, who listen to this song and were like, I'm not too sure about this. I'm not really super excited about it. And so, if you got a promo song that can't even get your fans excited and listen to the album, or doesn't even get your fans excited, then it's not really a good promo song. But ultimately, I was like, you know what? Everyone else's opinion doesn't even matter, because this is my album review. It's not anybody else's. This is my opinion. These are my thoughts. This is going to be my final score for this album. And so ultimately, I just had to say that like this is going to get a super high rating. This song Ko Ko Bop, as far as it pertains to this promoting the song and selling it to me, has done an absolutely exceptional job. So it's a fantastic promotion song as far as I'm concerned. It's a super interesting song. It's a really interesting blend of genres of music, and it's just a fantastic song all around. I've already talked about it in depth, what I think about it, what I like about it, all this other stuff, and that's really it. So the song is a fantastic, absolutely amazing promotion song in my eyes. And that's really great. And it shows, or it hinted at the very least, that the group development, or the development of EXO from their previous album, from Exact, was going to be something that was very interesting, because their previous album, especially their promo songs, was very much synth pop. It was kind of the trendy thing at the time, and I was like, this is going to be something different, because the promo song is not something that's commercially trendy or something that people are going to be like, oh, this is just like everyone's doing this. I love this. It's fantastic. The K-pop audience at large, or in general, is not really into this reggae hip hop fusion thing that Ko Ko Bop brought. So I went into this album, of course, looking at this, expecting this group's gonna like change things up in a dramatic way for this album. Unfortunately, it just isn't necessarily the case. The songs, when I first listened to the album, I was like, the rest of the album feels reminiscent. It feels pretty similar to Exact, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But at the same time, like with the standard and the expectation, or the idea that was planted in my mind from listening to Ko Ko Bop, I was expecting something completely different. And they just didn't really deliver anything that's dramatically different initially. But of course, as I listened to it more, then I kind of realized that, like, okay, so here's the difference between these two albums, and here's how this group has developed. It's not like, I don't think, a particularly massive development in their sound, or an evolution in their sound and style. It's just something that's just a little bit A little bit. So you got to kind of consider, right, that Exact was full of songs that were more or less heavily based, or the foundation of those songs was on, you know, just a general sort of synth pop sound and vibe to them. This album, or The War, I should say, I think has songs that are much more based on, I don't know, hip hop ish kind of stuff. It feels much more dark and heavy, and just like the songs got a lot more weight to them in general. And I think that's cool. It's definitely different. So they've kind of moved away from the you know, synth pop thing to something which was trending and popular at that time, that Exact was released, to something that's not really super, you know, popular and trending, because, you know, everyone knows that the tropical house is taking K-pop by storm, and every group is releasing a song that is like this. But, you know, it's just like not really the biggest evolution for a group that I've ever heard in, you know, between albums. But, you know, that's fine. EXO doesn't have to really evolve that much. They can basically, you know, they're going to release an album and they'll basically print money. So they don't really need to, you know, be innovative as a group necessarily. It's not a requirement to you know, keep people interested and invested in what they're doing. But, you know, I was like, you know, it wasn't really like a letdown, but it was like I was like, okay, cool. So EXO, they're doing their thing. They're just doing what they normally do, and they're putting out music. It's good stuff. But I was also, you know, kind of disappointed. And this is the biggest thing I was disappointed about with this album, is that the track listing of this album, listening to it in order from the first song to the last song, is a really, really just kind of straight journey as far as, you know, the songs go. It's predictable, I suppose, except for the fact that it doesn't end with an album with a ballad like every other album does. But it's a linear path. We've heard this kind of progression ever, you know, wherever. You can start with a song that's intros and a little downbeat and a little, you know, low key, and then you get the promo song, which just opens up the entire thing, and then you just go from there, and you just kind of descend down the roller coaster. You know, you get the intro song, which builds up the tension. The tension's released by the promo song, which is track number 2, and then down you go, down the hill to the end of the roller coaster. And there are no crazy twists and turns and, you know, loops and you know, little, you know, whirlpool things, whatever you want to call them, in this roller coaster ride. It's just basically it's just a straight up and then down, and then you're done. Kind of like, what is it, the Superman ride or whatever at Six Flags? Kind of something like that. It's just like a straight path. It's not bad. It's not really a bad thing, but it's not a particularly interesting, you know, journey that this album has taken me on, which is, you know, unfortunate, but it's whatever. And, you know, that's all really, really, you know, it's whatever. It's like, I'm disappointed by that, because, you know, again, Ko Ko Bop as a song itself, just like, I went into this, I was like, this is going to be a great album. I'm going to be stunned, not to mention how everyone was raving about it too. And then I'm like, it's really good, but at the same time, listening to this from first to last is like, whatever. I don't, you know, I've already heard all this stuff before. As far as, you know, how this album as a whole just kind of fits into K-pop in general, which, you know, I guess does tie into the group's development as a whole, is that it's a little bit different, you know, like I said, kind of based in a little bit of hip-hop thing, a little bit of hip-hop stuff, which is, you know, at least what I think. Could be wrong, probably wrong, but, you know, that's what I kind of think it is. And that is something that is, you know, the whole, like I said, tropical house, trending, popular, everyone's doing it, it seems. And I don't necessarily think that this song has a very heavy influence with that genre of music. Like I said, it's more hip-hop thing, which is something that the most popular groups in K-pop are doing. You know, hip-hop, R&B, whatever kind of thing you want to call that, is what they're doing. And so, of course, EXO's like at the top of the game as far as, you know, their reputation as a K-pop group, so it makes sense that they would do something like. But I just cannot shake the nagging feeling that this album throughout has just a little teeny tiny touch of the tropical house in it. I just cannot shake the feeling of that. And, you know, it's not really a bad thing. Of course, kind of I suppose ties it into something that people are really, really enjoying right now. So suppose as far as making this album palatable to the masses, supposedly, I guess that makes sense, but at the same time, like, it's whatever. But I don't know. It's just a thing that I feel. It's not really a criticism or anything, but it's just a thought that I've got, and I'm just pointing it out, and it's is great. I just can't shake that feeling that, like, even though this album I think is pretty heavily based on, you know, some hip hop, you know, beats and all its styles and all that stuff, there's still got the tropical house influence that's in it, and you know, that's just the thing. It's not disappointing. It doesn't get me excited for certain, but it doesn't disappoint me in any way. I don't think any worse of this album because of it, but it's just the thing. And then you finally looking at this album, or the songs on this album, I should say, on an individual basis, these are all just, I think, exceptionally good songs. They're all really, really good songs individually on their own. They could have been probably a promo song and would have gotten people psyched for this album. But the reason for that, though, is just, I think, because they're much more marketable as a song. They're much more easily digestible by the people, by K-pop fans, as you know, as a whole. And you know, that's the reason why they would probably be really, really successful as a promo song. I don't know necessarily if I would say that they would be as successful as a promo song instead of Ko Ko Bop. I'm not entirely sure about that. I personally think I would have ended up rating the promo song lower than I did if it had been any of the other songs, but you know, that's just my personal, you know, sort of taste. My favorite song that comes off this album that is not Ko Ko Bop, because that's by far my favorite song, has got to be What You Do. That song is really, really good. I love it. I sing the chorus all the time because it's hard to resist, and then the little sting that comes after you scream out what you do, like that, and then you get the little tag at the end. It's just really good. That sequence right there, that like 5 seconds or whatever, is just ingrained in my mind. I will never forget it. My least favorite song, probably actually the song that I really, really do not like listening to at all, is the song Diamond. The song just gets on my nerves. I really, really dislike the chorus. It's just like, which is bad. You shouldn't dislike the chorus of a song. The chorus, even though a song that you hate, should be the part that you actually enjoy about it, and you should probably hate like a breakdown or the verses or something else, but you should never hate the chorus of a song. But I just absolutely despise the chorus of Diamond. I cannot stand listening to it. It's just, it grinds my gears. It just pushes all the wrong buttons on me. And, you know, that's a little unfortunate. But even though, you know, like I said, individually, song's good, except for the fact that, like, the chorus is not particularly agreeable. And I know that earlier I did say that like every song individually is great, which is true. But at the same time, like, I can also not like great songs, right? So at least I think so. But then again, maybe that invalidates my statement that every song is great. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hypocrite, and maybe all of this was made up and completely fake. Who knows? But all of the different scores that I put together for the different categories that I put up, I'm gonna do my best to kind of put the categories and list them, you know, the different metrics and all that stuff that I looked at on the screen for you guys to see how I kind of individually broke this down. But combining all those together and getting my final score for this album of a 7.8. So I think that does make it my highest rated album thus far, probably just beating out Red Velvet's album by like a point, by a tenth of a point, by 0.1, because I believe that album got a 7.7. So that's pretty good. EXO, The War, getting the highest album score that I have ever given with a 7.7, which is super solid, because like if you consider this that like 10 is absolutely the best score you could possibly get, with 1 being the worst, 7.8 is pretty exceptional. So that's really, really good. So that's my score. That's my review. That's what I got to say about this song, about this album. I talked about it for 15 minutes. These album reviews are getting too long now, but maybe 15 minutes of talking about a song, about an album, I should say, is really, really great. So that's really all I got to say about this album. You know, you guys tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. You know, join this community. Hit that subscribe button if you want to join and hear more of what we've got to say. Before we finish this off, though, I want to give a shout out to some people who contributed subtitles to some of my previous videos. First off, we've got Danielle Galindo, who did Spanish subtitles for my music video reaction to the song from Card titled Holla Holla. And we got to thank FrostyJ29 for doing English subtitles on both of the songs Hui Hui and Winter's Dream from Labum. I really do appreciate that. You guys are helping spread my videos and make them more accessible to other people that are not me, not you that originally watched this. And so I really, really do appreciate it. If you want to do this on this video or anything like that, then I'll have a link down in the description that you can click on, so you can go do that. Make it super, super easy for you. And, just contribute, help make my videos more accessible, and I will give you guys a shout out in the future, in an upcoming video. So that's all I got to say. Thanks, as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.